The Stoic philosophy emphasizes the development of self-control, rational thinking, and virtue as the path to a good life. Its relevance in modern times, particularly in managing emotions and building mental strength, is increasingly recognized. In a world where stress, anxiety, and emotional turbulence are common, Stoicism offers practical tools for maintaining inner peace and mental resilience. Understanding Stoicism. A foundation for emotional management. At the heart of Stoicism lies the idea that we cannot control external events, but we can control our reactions to them. This fundamental distinction between what is within our control and what is not is known as the dichotomy of control. The Stoics believed that by focusing on our internal responses rather than external circumstances, we can achieve tranquility and emotional stability. This concept is central to managing emotions effectively. The Stoic view of emotions, often referred to as passions, is that they are disturbances in the mind caused by faulty reasoning or irrational judgments. For example, anger is seen as a response to perceived injustice, but the Stoics argue that it arises from an irrational belief that the world should always be fair. By challenging these irrational beliefs and cultivating a rational perspective, Stoics aim to achieve apatheia, a state of being free from destructive emotions. The dichotomy of control. The dichotomy of control is perhaps the most powerful tool Stoicism offers for emotional management. It teaches us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and responses, while accepting that we cannot control external events. This mindset shift is crucial for managing emotions because it reduces the power that external circumstances have over our mental state. For example, imagine a situation where you are stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. The natural reaction might be frustration or anger. However, by applying the dichotomy of control, a Stoic would recognize that while they cannot control the traffic, they can control their response to it. Instead of getting upset, they might choose to remain calm, perhaps using the time to reflect on their priorities or practice deep breathing. Virtue as the foundation of emotional management. In Stoicism, virtue is considered the highest good and the foundation of a good life. Virtue, in the Stoic sense, refers to living in accordance with reason and nature, and it encompasses qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. The Stoics believed that by cultivating virtue, one can achieve a state of inner tranquility, which is essential for managing emotions. For instance, the virtue of wisdom involves understanding the true nature of things, which helps in recognizing the irrationality of certain emotions. Courage allows us to face difficulties without being overwhelmed by fear. Justice ensures that our actions are fair and compassionate, reducing feelings of guilt or regret. Temperance helps in moderating desires and avoiding emotional extremes. Together, these virtues create a stable foundation for emotional resilience. The role of rationality in managing emotions. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the importance of rationality in governing our emotions. The Stoics believed that emotions are the result of our judgments and interpretations of events, rather than the events themselves. Therefore, by refining our judgments and aligning them with rational principles, we can manage our emotions more effectively. Cognitive distortions in Stoic logic. Cognitive distortions, irrational, biased thoughts that can lead to negative emotions, are a major focus in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics identified that much of our emotional distress comes from incorrect or exaggerated thinking. For example, the belief that everything is going wrong when only one thing goes wrong is a cognitive distortion that can lead to unnecessary stress or despair. Stoic logic provides tools to counter these distortions. One technique is to challenge the evidence supporting a distressing thought. A Stoic approach would be to question this judgment. Is it rational to define my entire worth by one mistake? Is there evidence that I have succeeded in other areas? By breaking down the irrational components of our thoughts, we can reduce their emotional impact. Epictetus, Enchiridian, and practical advice. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, offers practical advice on managing emotions in his work, Enchiridian. He emphasizes the importance of focusing on what is within our control and letting go of concerns about what is not. One of his famous teachings is that it is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them. This insight is crucial for emotional management because it shifts the focus from external events to our internal processing of those events. For example, if someone insults you, it's not the insult itself that causes emotional pain, but your interpretation of it. If you believe that the insult is a reflection of your worth, you will feel hurt. However, if you view the insult as a reflection of the other person's character or a momentary lapse in judgment, its emotional impact diminishes. By reframing our interpretations, we can maintain emotional equilibrium, even in challenging situations. Building mental strength through Stoic practices. Stoicism not only helps in managing emotions but also in building mental strength, an essential quality for navigating life's challenges. Mental strength, in the Stoic sense, is the ability to remain steadfast, resilient, and rational in the face of adversity. Emotional resilience is a Stoic virtue. Emotional resilience, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, is deeply ingrained in Stoic practice. The Stoics viewed adversity not as something to be feared, but as an opportunity for growth. This mindset is encapsulated in the Stoic concept of amor fati, or love of fate, which encourages embracing whatever life throws at us, whether good or bad. When faced with adversity, a Stoic would remind themselves that every challenge is an opportunity to practice virtue, whether it's patience, courage, or wisdom. By viewing difficulties as exercises in virtue, rather than obstacles, Stoics build mental resilience. This shift in perspective not only reduces the emotional impact of challenges but also strengthens one's character over time. The practice of negative visualization. Negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum, is a Stoic exercise where one mentally rehearses potential hardships or losses. This practice serves two purposes. It prepares the mind for adversity, making it less shocking if it occurs, and it fosters a deeper appreciation for what one currently has. For example, a Stoic might imagine losing their job, not to induce fear, but to prepare themselves emotionally and to appreciate the value of their current employment. By contemplating potential misfortunes, Stoics build a buffer against the emotional impact of actual events, making them more mentally resilient. Stoic meditation and journaling. Stoic meditation and journaling are practices that help in reinforcing Stoic principles and managing emotions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, is well known for his practice of journaling, as documented in his Meditations. Through daily reflection, he examined his thoughts, actions, and emotions, constantly aligning them with Stoic ideals. Journaling helps in identifying irrational thoughts and emotional triggers, allowing one to address them before they escalate. It also provides a space for practicing gratitude, reflecting on virtues, and planning for the day ahead with a Stoic mindset. Over time, these practices build mental strength by cultivating a habit of self-awareness and rational reflection. The Stoic approach to specific emotions. Stoicism offers specific strategies for managing a wide range of emotions. By understanding the nature of each emotion and applying Stoic techniques, one can achieve greater emotional balance. Anger. Anger is one of the most destructive emotions, and Stoics placed significant emphasis on controlling it. Seneca, in his essay on anger, describes anger as a temporary madness that clouds reason and leads to irrational actions. He advises against letting anger take hold, suggesting that we should pause and reflect before reacting. A Stoic approach to anger involves recognizing it as an irrational response to perceived injustice. Instead of reacting impulsively, Stoics advocate for taking a step back, examining the situation rationally, and considering whether the anger is justified. Often this reflection reveals that the anger is based on false assumptions or exaggerated perceptions, allowing one to let go of the emotion. Fear and anxiety. Fear and anxiety are often rooted in uncertainty and concern about the future. The Stoics believe that by focusing on the present and what can be controlled, one can reduce the power of these emotions. Epictetus famously said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." This teaching encourages acceptance of the present moment and the unpredictability of life. By letting go of the need to control the future, Stoics reduce anxiety and fear. They also use rational analysis to confront their fears, questioning whether they are truly as threatening as they appear and preparing themselves mentally for any outcome. Grief and loss. Grief is a natural response to loss, but Stoics believed that it should be tempered by rational understanding. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds himself that all things are transient, including life itself. By accepting the impermanence of all things, Stoics manage grief by focusing on the inevitability of change. The Stoic approach to grief involves acknowledging the pain of loss, but not letting it overwhelm one's rational mind. By reflecting on the natural cycle of life and the shared fate of all living beings, Stoics find comfort in the larger perspective, which helps in processing grief with emotional balance. Applying Stoicism in modern life. Practical techniques for emotional management. Stoicism's principles can be easily integrated into modern life, offering practical techniques for managing emotions and building mental strength. Mindfulness and Stoicism. Mindfulness, the practice of present moment awareness, aligns closely with Stoic teachings. The Stoics emphasize the importance of focusing on the present and accepting it fully. By practicing mindfulness, one can stay grounded in the present moment, reducing the impact of negative emotions that often arise from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. For instance, during a stressful situation, a Stoic might focus on their breath, bringing their attention back to the present moment. This simple practice helps in calming the mind and managing emotions more effectively. Developing a Stoic routine. A Stoic routine involves incorporating daily practices that reinforce Stoic principles and build mental resilience. This might include morning reflections, where one sets intentions for the day, focusing on virtues like patience, courage, and wisdom. Evening reviews are also essential, where one reflects on the day's events, assessing how well they aligned with Stoic ideals. These routines not only help in managing emotions but also in cultivating a Stoic mindset that becomes second nature over time. By consistently practicing these routines, one builds a reservoir of mental strength that can be drawn upon in times of adversity. Stoicism in decision-making. Decision-making can often be clouded by emotions, leading to impulsive or irrational choices. Stoicism offers a framework for making decisions based on reason and virtue, rather than emotion. When faced with a difficult decision, a Stoic would consider what is within their control, what aligns with their values, and what serves the greater good. By removing emotional bias from the decision-making process, Stoics ensure that their choices are guided by wisdom and rationality. This not only leads to better outcomes but also reinforces mental strength by consistently practicing self-control and virtue. Case studies. Modern examples of Stoic emotional management. Stoicism has inspired countless individuals throughout history, and its principles continue to guide modern thinkers, leaders, and everyday people in managing emotions and building mental strength. Leaders and thinkers inspired by Stoicism. Many modern leaders and thinkers have drawn inspiration from Stoicism to navigate challenges and make rational decisions. For example, former U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt was known to carry a copy of Marcus Aurelius' Meditations and applied Stoic principles in his leadership. His ability to remain calm under pressure and make decisions based on reason, rather than emotion, is a testament to the power of Stoicism. Similarly, entrepreneur and author Ryan Holiday has popularized Stoicism through his books, which emphasize the relevance of Stoic teachings in the modern world. By applying Stoic principles to his personal and professional life, Holiday demonstrates how Stoicism can help in managing emotions and achieving success with integrity. Personal stories of Stoic transformation. Beyond famous figures, countless individuals have found solace and strength in Stoicism, particularly during times of personal crisis. For instance, those who have experienced loss or trauma often turn to Stoic teachings to regain their emotional balance and build mental resilience. Through practices like negative visualization, journaling, and focusing on what can be controlled, these individuals have managed to overcome their challenges and emerge stronger. Their stories serve as powerful examples of how Stoicism can transform lives by providing a framework for emotional management and mental fortitude. Criticisms and misunderstandings of Stoic emotional management. While Stoicism offers valuable tools for managing emotions, it is not without its criticisms and misunderstandings. Common misconceptions about Stoicism. One of the most common misconceptions about Stoicism is that it promotes emotional suppression or indifference. Critics often misinterpret the Stoic ideal of apatheia as a call to eliminate emotions entirely. However, Stoicism does not advocate for the suppression of emotions but rather for the regulation of irrational and destructive passions. Stoics aim to experience emotions in a balanced and rational manner, without allowing them to dictate their actions. This distinction is crucial for understanding the true purpose of Stoic emotional management, which is to achieve inner peace and virtue, not to become emotionally detached or apathetic. Critiques from other philosophical schools. Other philosophical traditions have critiqued Stoicism's approach to emotions, arguing that it is overly rationalistic and neglects the value of emotional expression. For example, some critics from existentialist or humanistic perspectives might argue that emotions are an essential part of the human experience and should be embraced rather than controlled. Stoics would respond by emphasizing that their goal is not to eliminate emotions but to ensure that emotions are guided by reason and aligned with virtue. They would argue that this approach leads to a more balanced and fulfilling life, where emotions are experienced in their proper context and do not lead to irrational behavior or suffering. Conclusion. In conclusion, Stoicism provides a robust framework for managing emotions and building mental strength. Through its emphasis on rationality, self-control, and virtue, Stoicism offers practical tools for navigating life's challenges with resilience and clarity. By focusing on what is within our control, reframing our thoughts, and cultivating a Stoic mindset, we can achieve greater emotional stability and mental fortitude. In a world where emotional turbulence is common, Stoicism remains a valuable guide for those seeking to live a balanced and virtuous life. Its teachings are as relevant today as they were in ancient times, offering timeless wisdom for managing emotions and building the mental strength needed to thrive in any circumstance.